Hey guys, welcome back. Well, we finally did it. We made history today. The memory players that we track on this channel, Micron, SanDisk, Western Digital, and Seagate, two of those fours just went absolutely parabolic today, and they made history. If you've been following our channel over the last few weeks, you know that we track these players. We've been talking about certain levels, and today was ultimate validation of everything that we've talked about in this channel. While the rest of the market was holding its breath, waiting for the Fed, the memory complex just didn't move today. It went absolutely parabolic. We've been calling the levels of 500 and 1,000 for Micron and SanDisk for weeks. And both of those stocks finally smashed through those psychological levels today, and they just didn't look back. We've been watching those levels like hawks, and what we saw today was complete validation of all the fundamentals that we have seen in these stocks and all the demand that they're meeting in the market. Today's video, we're going to look at 5-minute candle charts, and I'm going to show you the exact movements they had today. I'm going to show you some block trades that prove that the whales are front running ahead of Seagate's earnings tomorrow. We're not just talking about green candles, though. We're talking about a structural breakout that confirms the thesis of the physical constraints, the bottlenecks that we see in this sector. If you've been positioned with us, today was a victory lap for all of us to enjoy with the stocks that we love, like Micron, SanDisk, Western Digital, and Seagate. Let's get into it. Let's check out the tape. Let's see what performance we had today, and let's talk about what it means for the market when opening bell opens tomorrow. Guys, if you haven't done it already, hit like, hit subscribe to the channel. I'm so impressed and so appreciative with all the support that you've given this channel. Let's keep it going. Let's see if we can get to 8,000 subscribers. Guys, let's get started. Let's first talk about Micron overall and the day that it had. So let me pull that up. And you can see on your screen, just kind of looking through some of the basics with Micron. Micron today had a fabulous day, up 5.6%, almost a $28 gain, closed at $524.70. Guys, you just remember, it wasn't that long ago. We were talking about 422 level, 450 level. Can we break through 470? Psychological level of 500. Look where we are today, almost 525. Today, if you look over to the right, we hit a high of 531.36 today. Fabulous day. In the after hours, we're holding for the most part, 70 cents, 86 cents now given back. But it is a strong sign that the institutional investors want to hold this position heading into tomorrow, where we're going to see massive earnings from Seagate. I'm going to get to that towards the end of the video. But this was a very strong performance. And let me show you one piece that drove it today. We saw a new price target that came out overall. Right here, you can see it from Melius right here, $700 price target, 33% upside from where we are today. It's a brand new coverage on this stock, just came out today, so massive sign of support from Micron. But let's look at the candle chart overall, and you can see right here a few things I want to call out is just a massive 5-minute green candle at the opening. You can see it took us from 511 here. Let me close that graph for you guys. It took us from the 511 to the 524 mark from Micron within 15 minutes. I mean, look at this accumulation right from the get-go. Boom. And look at the jump here. Within 10 minutes, the stock got up to a high of 528. And it continued to rise, got up to a high here of 529 within the first 30 minutes or so of opening. And look at the gap up we saw. Look at the volume underneath. Massive volume support for Micron overall. So this was a strong sign. This here is what we're seeing in that first candle is a high pole initiation. It signals that the institutional investors had a buy at market. The buy at market orders were triggered the moment the bell rang. That's that massive candle that you see. And notice that the wick at the bottom of that 5-minute candle. It tells us that there was zero hesitation. Big money didn't wait for a dip. They wanted size immediately, which is why we saw this huge vertical move within the first few minutes from Micron. And if you look as you further go out, we did have a V-base consolidation. You saw later in the day between probably 11:30 and 1:15. Micron pulled back to the 522 level before bouncing perfectly. It created an intraday V-base right into the previous week's resistance. By turning old resistance into new support during the midday lull, the stock proved it has a higher floor. While retail traders were taking lunch, the institutions were defending the 522 line. We saw a series of hammer candles right at the volume weighted average price, which provided that fuel for the final push you can see at the end. Look at that final accumulation right here to close out the stock in the last 20 minutes or so. And look at the volume underneath that supported it. So that was a huge sign overall for the stock. We saw that Melius buy initiation. They came out this morning with a $700 price target that I showed you earlier, calling memory the heart of the AI trade. That was their words overall. Huge bullish sign for both Micron, SanDisk, and the other players within this sector. We also saw Lynx Equity have an 825 target for the stock. They went even further, reporting that Micron's HBM and their DDR5 capacities are now sold out through 2027. This is no longer a cycle, guys. We've been saying for a while, this is a structural shortage in this market. And I want to show you a few block trades that just confirm the accumulation and the support that I think we'll see for Micron as we head into tomorrow's close as well. But if you look right here, we obviously saw a massive closing cross here, about a $900 million position, 1.7 million shares right at the close. But look just beyond it. We have a $268 million position 9 seconds later, and almost another 500,000 close right at the 524.56 mark. So that's, just about the bid, but it's a strong sign for me. Some will say it's at the bid, Kevin. This could be a sign that this is a seller coming in. It could be a bearish sign overall as we head into tomorrow. I think to me, it's a sign of institutional support overall. I think when you see a massive block trade, a 268 million trade at just after the 4 o'clock close, at that level we talk. This is a dark pool whale signaling they are comfortable holding this position through the Seagate volatility that we may see tomorrow. So, guys, I think this is a strong sign for the stock. Huge day for Micron today. Love seeing it jump up over the 424. You guys know for a while I've had a 550 level for Micron as my price target. I feel like I might be a bit conservative here based on everything we saw, based on what we're going to see this week with not only Seagate and Western Digital's earnings and SanDisk's earnings, but all the hyperscalers going to report out on Wednesday. This is going to be a massive week of demand and support that we're going to see in the market for CapEx, support for just the build out from the hyperscalers, and the demand and the pricing targets and the long-term customer agreements that we're going to see from the memory players. So I'm expecting some big moves from the memory players today, stepping up to the next level for these trades. Let's go over and take a look at SanDisk, because SanDisk also had a fabulous day. So let's just jump over to what we see right there. Sorry, guys, SanDisk. Take a look at this level, 1,070. We have talked about this $1,000 level. We know right before the inclusion to NASDAQ 100, we flirted with 1,000 and then pulled back. Well, we finally broke it through today with an $80 gain, an 8% jump. And if you look in the after hours, we're continuing to move higher. So right now we got another $2 on the board, another 0.2%. And if we look over further to the right, you can see the day's gain is actually, we close right at the high overall for SanDisk. So this is a strong position, a strong day overall. Let's take a look at their candle chart and what we saw with SanDisk as well. And you can see it's a little bit different than what we saw with Micron overall, because the volume bars at the bottom down there of the chart, instead of it being a single spike, we are seeing rising volume on every upward move throughout the day. We had an accumulation on ascent right from the beginning. Usually as stock hits its all-time high, volume starts to fade as buyers get scared of the price. With SanDisk, the volume actually increased as price went higher. Check out the volume on the profile of SanDisk. Normally you see volume drop as the stock gets expensive. But here, the volume bars grew actually as we crossed the 1,050. This is a textbook signal that institutions are chasing the breakout, not just riding it. And I think you look at the bull flag into the close, similar to what we saw with Micron. But these last, right here at the end, look at that accumulation, that support right there at the end. Both stocks had that same kind of trend going on. But in the last 30 minutes, SanDisk formed this tight range between 10 to 1,068, 1,007. This is a late day bull flag that you see right at the end there. In a parabolic move like we saw today with SanDisk being up 8%, you usually see a waterfall sell-off into the close, into these final minutes as day traders try to exit. But SanDisk did the exact opposite today. It held its highs in the market. Today's move was driven by the realization that everyone has been obsessed with HBM for training. We have talked about it. They're obsessed with it for inference. And we discussed the Google and Merck, the agentic deal that we talked about earlier, when those models go to work, they need high-speed SSDs. They're ultimately going to need high bandwidth flash. This is why Zacks listed SanDisk today as the bull of the day, with projecting a 404 increase in earnings per share year over year for this stock. We are seeing it even go higher, as I mentioned, in the after hours. It's clearly moving up towards that 1,073 right now. The market realized that SanDisk is the cleanest play on the inference shift right now. It's a massive move for the stock. The most bullish thing that I saw today wasn't the 8% gain for the stock, though. It was that final 15 minutes that we saw in the candle chart. If you looked at how it finished at the end, how it kind of rose up at the end overall, nobody wanted to sell it and go home flat. They wanted to hold that position into the Seagate print tomorrow. It's a high conviction money move, high conviction move for SanDisk overall. Great sign, awesome performance from the stock today. And let's talk about Seagate overall and what we expect tomorrow as we head into their print. So let me just show you, pull that up. You can see here at Seagate, had also a really strong day today, almost a $10 gain, little over 1.5%. You can see closed at just under 596. Guys, if you look over here to the right, you can see got up to almost $603 a share today. It's holding in the after hours too, about another 78 cents on the board. So strong performance for today for Seagate as well. We even saw Western Digital. They came back. They were down a little bit. Let's see where they finished today overall. So Western Digital was down about $3.27 today, still holding over 400 and in positive right now in the after hours. So you got to think that Western Digital is going to benefit from Seagate's earning tomorrow as they set up for theirs the following day. But this was a strong day for memory overall today. I'd say the outlook for us tomorrow, we know when Seagate releases its print at market close, they're expected to have an earnings per share, I think, of almost 350. I think we'll beat that because I do think their revenue is going to move past the 3 billion mark. I think it was projected by most analysts to be about 2.94 billion. I think we're going to see closer to 3.1 billion. The stock isn't going to move on just EPS, though. It's going to move based on the mass capacity that they have for HDD guidance moving forward. I think we're going to look at the next quarter's guidance. It's going to show you the demand and the support for this stock, and that's what's going to get this sector to move overall. It's just going to be one sign that we see this week, a real bullish sign, because if Seagate confirms that they are sold out through 2027, it creates a triple threat bull case for the sector. Western Digital and Seagate, they are the iron anchors that we've talked about. If Seagate shows a margin expansion from their Mozak 3, their 3 Plus platform, it proves the storage scarcity, the storage super cycle is real. I expect also to see a sympathy move at the open tomorrow because the massive 900 million, 570 million closing prints that we saw today in the dark pools for Micron and also for SanDisk, it tells us that institutions are not waiting for the news. They are already betting that Seagate's print will be clean. And when you see that kind of high conviction accumulation on Monday, it often leads to a gap and go on Tuesday morning as the rest of the market tries to get in before the bell. If Seagate confirms that they are sold out of mass capacity drives through 2027 in their after hours, today's winners of Micron and SanDisk are going to be the secondary beneficiaries. We are playing the anticipation trade tomorrow morning, and the confirmation trade will be played on Wednesday. Bottom line today, guys, what we saw in the memory cycle was all about conviction. We saw all-time highs, not because of retail hype, but because of the physical supply of memory that is literally running out, while the 331 CapEx spend by Google and by Microsoft are just getting started. Tomorrow, there's a few things I think we all need to watch for. We need to watch for that 531 level of resistance for Micron. If we break that early, we are headed for the 550 level for this stock. That's something I want to keep in mind for this week. Can we break 550? Can we break my year-end price target in April, at the last week of April? That would be awesome to see. I also think we have to listen for the inference demand in Seagate's earnings calls. That will be the fuel for SanDisk as it reaches towards its next level of $1,100 for the stock. I'll be back tomorrow night to break down the Seagate's earnings, analyze how their performance will ripple across the entire memory sector. We've been tracking, as you know, we've been tracking these physical constraints of this industry because the real price action, because this is where the real price action is hidden. The candles are telling us that the floor has moved up for these stocks that we looked at today with Micron and SanDisk. We're not looking at that 450 level anymore. The 520 level is the new line in the sand for Micron now based on the action today. The 1050 is the new home for SanDisk. We are going to watch for a gap up and go tomorrow morning, especially if Seagate confirms its thesis after tomorrow's close overall. Hit that subscribe button, guys. Make sure you get my video tomorrow so we can all go through the Seagate earnings, talk about the performance on the market together. I want to keep you updated on the data overall that we see, but I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you have a great night. Take care.